Morning.
Well, announcement from the premier's office that he has COVID.
I
He
read that
finally
last night
caught
on,
the
on your
COVID.
Facebook. Yeah, is that the first time for him?
Yes.
So,
Actually.
okay. How does he think he got it? Do you know?
He hasn't said,
Hmm.
but who knows at this point? I think that the ones who haven't had it are in the minority. Um,
Yes, that's me and
so
you.
yeah, I know. I feel like every day our chances are, the noose is tightening around our necks a little bit.
Hmm.
So yes, he's in isolation. He's still working though, so I think he's feeling
Yeah.
okay. Mild symptoms, and he's doing like caucus and cabinet from Zoom. Thank God for modern technology, right? It's made surviving COVID a lot easier.
Although I find myself not wearing a mask like everybody else.
Uh-huh. The pressure's on. It's
So,
yep, it's one of those things where once it's not mandatory, people are like, why bother? And
yeah.
even people who said, I'm gonna still wear it, kind of feel the pressure when they go into a place and they're the only person wearing it. They feel strange.
You
Peer
know what?
pressure.
There's still a good handful of people wearing masks. I even still see a lot of workers wearing masks as
Yeah,
well. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm continuing to wear mine in certain spaces that I think are
Yeah.
pretty hot spots, like the grocery store and stuff like that. So
The same. Yeah. I
yeah.
agree.
So I am watching the numbers as well, and they did release some numbers yesterday, and I thought,
What do they look like?
they're going up. I
Are they?
mean, yeah.
Okay.
So I thought to myself, they actually gave like it's 800 and oh gosh, like 30 something active cases at the moment.
Hmm.
And it's not a significant increase, but you kind of see the numbers climbing. 837 current cases, 8 hospitalizations, and those are estimated active cases, by the way, because I think they recognize that certain people will be COVID positive and not necessarily report it.
Right.
They might just be staying home and hopefully isolating as they should. But
Hmm.
yeah, so we'll continue to monitor it. In other news, Cecil Hilton receives the regiment's commanding officer's commendation. So, congratulations to him. This is well deserved. So, the regiment has been extremely busy, and Trooper Cecil Hilton is the first recipient of the Cayman Islands Regiment's commanding officer's commendation for outstanding achievement. So, he was recognized for his effective management of a shelter in 2021 after the shelter manager had an emergency. So, according to a post made by commanding officer Lieutenant Lieutenant, yes, Watson, Trooper Hilton was tasked to support the shelter manager at the John Gray High School gymnasium shelter back in August of 2021. And with the absence of any deputy shelter managers, this was like a really big deal, and he really just stepped up.
Hmm.
And so, congrats to Trooper Hilton. Well done.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. So there's a hotel that broke ground last week, a boutique hotel in the center of Georgetown. This one kind of snuck up on me. I was actually at the event, and I thought to myself, "Oh, I must have passed this probably a dozen times and didn't even notice the signage." So, don't know if you noticed it or not, but it's called One GT. Pretty interesting name. I like the name.
Okay. And where is it?
So you know where? Oh gosh, what's the building called? There's like Kirk Freeport in there.
Yeah. Is it Bayshore Mall?
Yes, right across from Bayshore Mall on Goring Avenue. So Goring Avenue is the one that goes down that little road, and then you
Right.
you kind of, if you were to go straight, you'd end up right in Royal Bank.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
Goring, so it's like right across from there. So yeah, they've had signage and stuff up, and I've just totally missed it. But we got to see, renderings of the hotel. They had a video presentation, the whole 9 yards. Did their little shovel ceremony, groundbreaking ceremony last week, Thursday. And I must say, it looks really, really awesome. I mean, these renderings are just amazing what they can do to kind of give you a visual of
Hmm.
what a particular space will look like. But it looks pretty cool.
I got a sneak peek of Cardinal Avenue when I was downtown on Saturday
Mm,
watching the KMAS
yes.
parade.
How's it coming along?
It looks cool. It's got
Okay.
palm trees. now in the middle of the road.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll look like it'll be a nice, boardwalk esque type, area,
Mhm.
on Cardinal Avenue. So,
Okay, we'll see how that pans out for them.
yeah.
His Excellency the Governor has announced this morning the launch of the new Police Service Commission website, and everyone can go to policeservicecommission.ky.
Mhm.
And basically, this website offers accessibility and transparency, according to the governor's office, so that people can understand some of the important decisions that are being made within the RCIPS. So, the PSC, which is the Police Service Commission, is an independent body chaired by the governor. It was established in 2021 and held its first meeting in March of last year. So, the responsibilities for the PSC include senior appointments and promotions within the RCIPS for superintendent rank and higher. So, this is quite interesting and supposedly good governance of the RCIPS as well. Speaking of good governance of the RCIPS, did you see that video that was trending yesterday in CMR with a police officer that was kind of like pushing a guy who had one
Yes.
too many drinks?
Yeah.
So lots of people had opinions about that. I never feel like we get to see the full story. So sometimes I like to reserve my comment because I don't know what transpired before that.
Hmm.
But a lot of people thought maybe this officer is being a bit too aggressive
I would agree with
um,
that.
in his approach, given the circumstances that hey, obviously this guy is intoxicated. It didn't
Mhm.
seem like he was trying to be violent in any way. So I think the PSC might be kind of busy.
I think no matter what led up to that, just the pushing of the person
Hmm.
wasn't something that you would expect from a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
You know,
Unfortunately, we see it not
trained
necessarily in this jurisdiction, but we see it all the time.
trained to de-escalate situations, and that was not de-escalating that
Yeah.
situation.
So another quick one. Police
Mhm.
made an arrest and have charged someone for having a gun and bulletproof vests in a seizure on July the 1st, Friday, July 1st. And they've been conducting some operations with the Border Control Unit. 51-year-old man from West Bay has been arrested on suspicion of having a bulletproof vest in his possession. And so far, he's been granted bail. So
Wow.
that's it. And I got to run.
All right, catch Sandy right now on Bobo 89.1 FM, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Thursday headlines. Thanks,
Have a
Sandy.
good one.
You too.
Bye. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's that time of day. Got to kick it off.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, fever grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Okay, folks, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Got to make sure we get that right because, of course, everybody's a little bit confused since we had the public holiday on Monday. I saw some people commenting yesterday that the deputy premier made mention of us potentially getting another holiday called Labor Day, like the equivalent of a Labor Day. And he was saying, wouldn't that be great if we could have that holiday like in September, which ironically, I think that's when the Americans celebrate Labor Day. Is it September? Somewhere thereabouts. And there were people who were commenting in our comment section yesterday morning saying, hey, does that mean this September we're getting a holiday? I think the short answer is no. It does not mean that. What it means is, I guess he's kind of throwing that out there and he's thinking about it. I don't necessarily think that this is anything that has been brought to the attention of the government members, like probably not even caucus. I mean, I don't really know. I certainly haven't heard anybody else talking about this. And so Maybe it's just an idea that he had in his head. Doesn't mean that it's going to come to fruition, folks. So we'll see. He's obviously got to convince other people. And if you're an employer, how do you feel about another public holiday? You're probably like, are you kidding me? Another day that I've got to work, I've got to pay people double time if they work for me, or, if they're not even working for me, just give people a day off. I feel like there has to be a balance to be struck between, employers and employees. And, you actually want people to be working for you when you're paying them money. Because you yourself work awfully hard. So do we need a Labor Day? Do we need a day to say thanks for working for the couple coins that you get? I mean, that's your job, but thank you anyway. I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit like, I'm a little bit torn on this issue. I don't know how I feel about it. Of course, I work for myself, so it hardly matters to me on a personal level because, I work on holidays. So from that perspective, it's neither here nor there. But I can tell you that giving people another day off in the big scheme of things is probably not going to go over well with businesses, with the business community. So what do you guys think about that one? Like I said, I'm a little bit like, thinking it's probably not necessary. And, like it's a sort of thing you do when, I don't know. I don't know if we need another holiday. God knows we had a lot this year. Okay, 936-2626 is the telephone number, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing? Let's see here. Who do we have in the house? We've got Miss Vernita saying good morning to everyone. Let me just send out my links as well. I'm waiting for a certain person to message me. Hey, Sandy, I'm sitting here listening to you and I've not seen the links yet. All right, so let me do that to your WhatsApp group. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, by all means, you are more than welcome to do so. We send out notifications, things as they happen, sometimes a little bit extra commentary. And you're always in the know. I think it's really good, especially for accident alerts and stuff like that, because, you're on the road and you might not be checking social media, but chances are you still check in your WhatsApp messages. And so it's great to be able to get those real-time alerts. And speaking of real-time traffic alerts, we're going to talk about this little accident last night. Because, honey, made me chuckle in a way. You guys are not going to believe who looks like they got caught in a DUI. Marshall, good morning. Hello, Stephen, joining us from the United Kingdom. I was listening to something this morning from the UK about Boris, what's his name? Boris Johnson. Several of his senior cabinet members have actually resigned, saying that they have lost confidence on him. Lord have mercy. I do believe the writing is on the wall. Wow. I don't think it looks good for him. So he might want to start packing up his bag from where he lives, because it's not looking good. So I'm just queuing up the video here. We're going to play that in a little bit. And there has been yet another shooting. Listen, since we had a conversation maybe a month and a half ago now, there have been numerous shootings in the US. And I hate to say it, folks, but unfortunately, nothing's going to change anytime soon. It's sad because it breaks my heart. I've still got friends who live in the US. Obviously, we've got family members who are Americans and who live there. And it's like, I couldn't imagine living there anymore, in the sense that, I would be so just worried every time you wanted to go and enjoy yourself at a public event, even the mall. Like in crowded days, you'd be like, ooh, maybe today isn't the day for me to go to the mall, because there's some crazy out there who's going to try to make a name for himself and, make a point of going shooting up the mall, on Christmas Day or whatever. The busiest day of the shopping year is not Christmas Day, but you know, the day after Thanksgiving or whatever. Like, I would just be so incredibly paranoid. You don't feel safe anywhere. You can't feel safe sending your kids to elementary school. Can't feel safe going to university. It's just one shooting after the next. So, in fact, since we spoke last time, there's probably been at least another dozen or more mass shootings. And this weekend was no exception. July the 4th, some crazy went off and shot up a July the 4th event. Oh my God. It's just it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. So this year alone, let me see. Do we have a total count on how many we've had? It's just crazy. So this weekend, they had another 7 killed and at least 46 others were injured. Wow. The list is very, very long. It's like every single day, July 30th, July 1st, July 2nd, there's a few, July 3rd, there's a few. There's one in Arizona where 3 people were killed, 4 were injured. I mean, the list of mass shootings and the gun violence in America is just unrelenting. Like, I don't even know what to say. It is just absolutely shocking. 300 mass shootings in 2022, and they're only halfway through the year. It is only July, folks. And 15 mass killings. Oh my God. So in this last round of just unrelenting violence in America, a little boy, a toddler, was found wandering the streets after the event because both of his parents, not one, but both of his parents, were actually killed in the latest mass shooting. So according to Boston Globe, there have been at least 314 mass shootings so far in 2022. And that's in 186 days. Wow. Yeah, pretty crazy. I don't know what to say except that this latest, which are called the Highland Park Parade shooting, the perpetrator has been charged with 7 counts of murder, and they expect some additional charges to be filed. There's a photo. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a photo of the police officer, of a police officer, like walking in Highland Park with just his hands and his head in his hands, just incomplete. I feel like just he probably doesn't even know. He's just, I'm sure all these good officers just want to quit. I mean, it's just horrible. He just was like, it's just too much. So yeah, that's a sad day in America. I mean, I am literally just at a loss of what else to say. There was someone who said, trying to see if I can find this quote, but they used that photo and they said that, we don't need, oh, this is what they said: "Dear America, good guys with guns cannot save us. We need to ban assault weapons." And I'll show you this picture for those of you who are online with this poor police officer. Looks like he's crying. I mean, the stress that these guys must be under must just be absolutely tremendous. I mean, I feel stressed for America, and I'm not even living there. And still, you worry about your loved ones that are there in America, and you just worry about Americans in general. It's just sad. Look at this. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning, Sandy.
Hi. Are you stressed out this morning, or is it just me?
Yeah, your radio sounds horrible. That's why I'm stressed
Oh, you're stressed out because let me let Chuck know, and he can.
I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it because, of course, I don't know. Okay, he said it's been fixed. Apparently, he was listening, so he said it has been fixed. Thank you, Chuck. Chuck and others working behind the scenes. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what causes that, but it's something where it's, I guess, garbled up sometime. But I appreciate it because obviously I don't know what's going on in the radio. I mean, I think I'm sounding like really nice, clean voice. So yes, folks. She's like, yes, I'm stressed because your signal sucks. Oh, Lord have mercy. What a mess. So I got my overnight oats. I feel better when I have overnight oats. I got to be honest with you. I'm here. I'm mixing it up a little bit. So yeah, dear America, good guys with guns cannot save us. We need to ban assault weapons. So sad. Oh, America, all I can do for y'all is just pray. Pray that y'all get it together because it's a sinking ship and it doesn't look good. Damien, good morning. So you guys know I keep talking about losing 50 pounds. And I'm going to be doing an executive health checkup here shortly at Health City. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. I feel like I am one of those chunky people, though, who generally speaking has really good numbers. But, once you start to hit like that middle age, like 40 plus, you got to know that even if you've had decent numbers your entire life, age is no longer on your side. So you got to do everything you can to combat like the high blood pressure and the cholesterol and everything else. And of course, diet is definitely the way to do it. So I'm not a huge fan of cooked oats. Like I don't like oats, to be honest. But ironically enough, I love overnight oats. Well, I should say I love this one. I'll show you guys this. This is the overnight oats. I'm mixing it up because it has fruits and stuff in it. This is the one that I get from the cupboard, which is a little coffee shop there attached to the Ritz. And what is so funny is I've never been to any of the restaurants in the Ritz. Now listen to me, y'all. This is kind of crazy. Y'all know I love to eat whatever, but sometimes I'm a little bit funny about eating out. Like I like the same restaurants all the time. But years ago I discovered the cupboard and I love that they have Kimanian staff there. I went there the other day and one of the ladies said, oh, Miss Sandy, because I called in because normally they put like a little thing of is it muesli on the top, like in a separate container, and I don't really like that part of it. And I'm like, listen, I hate to waste food, and I always throw that away, and I feel like I'm wasting food. So I called the young ladies and I said, I know they make it in house and everything, and I said, listen, can I get it without the granola? That's what it is. I said, can I get it without the granola on top and just the overnight oats? And she said, sure. And I get like 3-4 at a time, so I'm good for a couple days worth of breakfast. And so when I went there, she said, oh, I gave you some fresh fruit instead. So she gave me like strawberries and blueberries and stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you. That is much better because then I just mix it in. And she said, Miss Sandy, I was telling, there's a girl there who's, I think, fairly new. She said, I was telling her, you've been coming here for years. And I said, I sure have. I need chill. And I just go there for one thing. Y'all know I don't drink coffee or anything else. I just go there for the overnight oats because they are delicious. And it's one of the few things that has a couple raisins in it. I'm not big on raisins in my food, except salads, but that's breakfast and I don't mind it. It's good. Damien, good morning. Says, yes, there's a spike in Florida and new variants for COVID. It's been spiking in the UK as well. And of course, the premier has now announced yesterday afternoon that he has tested COVID positive. So we're sending him some positive vibes and hoping that he makes a full recovery. It is what it is. I think we're all double, triple, and some of y'all quadrupled vaccinated. And, you just try to starve it off. I mean, don't go out there intentionally trying to catch COVID because, again, not everybody's response to COVID will be the same. There will be some of you who will be hospitalized with COVID, and there will be some of you who will die from COVID. So my philosophy isn't to throw caution to the wind. It's to still be cautious. I went to the grocery store over the weekend on Monday and yesterday, and I'm wearing my mask when I go into the grocery store because I feel like a lot of people in the grocery store, a little bit of a confined space. You can't really social distance in a grocery store very well. So the grocery stores now have a optional mask policy, both for their staff and their customers. And that goes for like the cost you less, the price right, all those stores. And so they're really leaving it up to your good judgment or not to decide whether or not you will mask up. And I think in certain environments, it's probably still a good idea. But like I was saying to Blake this morning, it is interesting because when you go into an environment and you're like the only one with a mask on, that peer pressure is real, honey child. You'd be like, am I the crazy one? No, you're not. You're the sane one. You're the only sane one. And sometimes you might be the only sane one in an entire room. Evelyn says, good morning from Greece. It's 3:23 p.m. So she went from the UK to Greece. Sounds like she's on a proper holiday. Olivia, good morning. Diamond Princess, happy Wednesday to you. Good morning to Richard. Damien says, let's see when the first nor'wester comes, if they can handle that amount of salt spray. I think he's referring to the trees that Blake mentioned earlier, the palm trees being in the middle of town. So yeah, palm trees, is that the look that we're going for? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like no one has done a really good job of explaining this revitalization concept. It was brought about under the last government, and we know that Mr. Colin Lumpson has been tasked with it. But we haven't heard from Colin. I feel like nobody's heard from Colin in terms of like a public presentation or anything in a while. It would be good to see the overall vision for what revitalization for Georgetown means. Pedestrianizing a road, a particular street in Georgetown, a couple palm trees doesn't really give me a full vision of what revitalization means. How are we revitalizing it with some palm trees and some sitting areas, which will only be utilized during the day for, for tourists? And the other question that comes to my mind is, one of the reasons why when they redid Hero Square in front of the courthouse for the umpteenth time, please stop wasting money and redoing Hero Square. Truly. It's like 4 times now, right? So when they redid it again, they actually removed all the sitting area, because what they found is it was a convenient location for vagabonds. Is that the right word? For vagabonds to be hanging out. And the vagabonds are all Caymanians, right? So they don't want the Caymanian vagabonds hanging out. They just want a nice, pretty space for tourists. What a hot mess, child. So now that you're creating another pedestrian space with seats, have they thought about the drunks that are going to be hanging out there in the night and sleeping there and whatever? They probably haven't put too much thought into that. And in another year or two, we'll be tearing it up again because, oops, we didn't think that one through, and we don't actually want y'all hanging out here. So let's not give you a seat or a bench. Morning, wee wee. Diania, good morning. She says robotic radio's back. It should be fixed now. Thank you very much for letting me know. Celine says Labor Day in the US is the first Monday in September. Yes, I think that could be right. So Damien says another holiday that people go visit elsewhere and take $2,000 to $5,000 with them to spend outside of our economy. Yes, because funny enough, the one thing with holidays for Caymanians is y'all love to travel. And by travel, I mean Miami for shopping. Maybe Tampa if you're lucky. Philip, good morning to you. Matrix says, do you know that you can travel around the world with only one document or ID, that being your passport? But in Cayman, a supposedly world-class financial center, you need 2 IDs to deal with RBC. RBC being Royal Bank of Canada? Well, I mean, I think banking is a little bit, point taken, but yeah, they're trying to frustrate you to death with the banking because they claim it's all related to money laundering and whatever else. So I don't know. When you're traveling, I guess you're not doing anything illegal, is what they think. But they do put you through additional scrutiny when you travel, right? Damon says, I feel safer living in Central America, although the U.S. condemns those countries as very dangerous. I don't know. Would I feel safer living? It depends on where in Central America, for sure. The murder capitals of the world are in some places in Central America. Would I feel safe in like Tegucigalpa, Honduras? No, definitely not. Because you don't always have to worry about shootings and that sort of stuff, but robberies and rapes and everything else. So, I don't know. Like, I do kind of feel like in America, although we have all these mass shootings, I guess if you just went to, not even going to work because you might get shot at work, just work from home and stayed in your little neighborhood, maybe you might have any crazies in the neighborhood. I'm not sure. But I'm going to let you guys listen to this audio clip because it's very, very interesting. They actually have a mass shooting. What do they call her? She's some kind of like expert on these guys who are like in these fringe groups. Can I just say something? It's amazing how people say in America, the underlying issue is mental health. And I was thinking about this. I was kind of having it, just mulling it over in my brain. And I thought to myself, if that were the case, why is it that you don't have any female mass shooters? Has America even ever had a female mass shooter? It's all men. And surely men are not the only ones who are suffering from mental health issues in America. And America is not the only country in the world that has people with mental health issues. There was a shooting in Copenhagen a couple of days ago. But again, it's not the constant mass shootings that you have in America. And it's mostly male driven. So I don't think I'm not saying that mental health isn't an issue in America, but I think when it comes to this unfeathered violence, I don't think that is what is driving it. Because then why don't you have any women? Women suffer from mental health too. So it's just the access to the gun culture and the easy access to assault rifles has got to be curtailed. There's no reason. There was a funeral home director. Was that a funeral home director? Anyway, maybe he was a pathologist or something, but he does the autopsies, yes, for deceased individuals. And he's done a number of them for people who've died by gun violence. And he's like, if people had an inclination of what an assault rifle does to the human body, he said no one should ever have to see. He's like, listen, it just shreds you to pieces. And there is no legitimate case that you can build for why a person needs an assault weapon. There's nothing that they could be hunting that you could justify an assault weapon would make sense, except maybe war, because you're trying to do that, right? Which is still crazy. Marshall says mass shooting is crazy here. People are out of control. You just don't know where or when someone is going to pull out a gun. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. You're not safe at work. You're not safe at the Burger King. You can't go to church. Black people are being targeted. It's just like one thing after the next. And how did I know that Denny would be calling us this morning? Denny, you're like a clock.
I am?
Yes. Very predictable. I know what hour it is.
Okay. What hour is it?
Right now, it's 7:55. Hero Blair, good morning. He's joining us from Kingston, Jamaica. So go ahead, give me your position on rifles. I know you got an argument to make here this morning, and you're going to be supporting and telling me why the issue isn't assault weapons.
I think you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
All right. And you're going to try to convince me of that.
You've never seen what a shotgun can do to someone.
So you're saying that the opinion of a man who does autopsies for a living, that what assault weapons do to people is just, no one should ever see that. You're saying that that's the same thing and it's okay?
What I'm saying to you is that if you've been hit by a shotgun with hunting loads, you're going to be a mess. And
I've actually seen it. Can I tell you I've actually seen it?
Okay. Also, you will
wait a minute now, Danny. Don't dismiss when I said I've seen it, because I'm going to tell you. Just last week, someone sent me a video. I don't know why people send me these things. Further, I don't even know why I watch them, but someone sent me a video of a man who decided to commit suicide with a shotgun. And what it did to his head, I couldn't believe it. It was just shocking. And what a horrible way to die. So I do have a little bit, I'm not sitting here watching that type of video every day, but I do have an inclination of what a shotgun can do. So if an assault weapon can even do a fraction of that and worse, my God, I can't even imagine.
Well, what you have to keep in mind is that in both instances, if you're committing suicide with either one of them, you're going to be dead. And
Well, that's not the
important
point. I mean,
that is the point. That is the point.
The point that this pathologist is making is that you don't even get as family the opportunity to like grieve your loved ones in the traditional way of maybe viewing a body because of the total destruction that is carried out.
And I'm saying that if someone hits you in the right place with a shotgun, you'll have the same effect. You won't be able to look at the person. I'm just saying that that's an exaggeration. But the fact of the matter is that what the point that you made about hunting is way off. You say you don't need, you call it an assault rifle. It's not an assault rifle, first of all. What you have to go through to buy an assault rifle in the US, a criminal isn't going to do, because that requires an FBI or ATF background check, and that could take weeks, months, depending on what your particular situation is.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. What you call an assault rifle is a semi-automatic rifle. Not an assault rifle is a fully automatic rifle. And what I'm saying is that they may look the same, but they're not the same. And
so an AR-15, in your opinion, isn't an assault rifle?
Correct.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is that the caliber of a assault rifle is normally 223, or it could be a 308. Both of those cartridges can be used for hunting different types of game, and they are. And think about it this way: if you want to kill an animal and the animal is, let's say, 200-300 yards away from you, you want an ethical kill. You don't want to hit the animal and then the animal runs all over the place and lives for 5 or 6 hours in pain. You want to knock the animal down. And so what I'm saying is that what you're proposing is to fix something that isn't really the issue. The issue in America, you have to realize, is that you're not going to be able to stop someone who is like that and wants to do something that is wrong, unless you have an opportunity that you're at the scene and you can stop the person. Because the person can actually buy an illegal firearm to commit the crime if they can't go to a store and buy and get it. And so the people that you're actually affecting most are law-abiding citizens. And what the proposal that is being made isn't really addressing the issue of the individuals who are doing these things. Mm-hmm. You might say, but yeah, but they got it lawfully. And the truth of the matter is that for the portion of the people who are not mentally ill, who are just have a bad agenda, they can go through all of the steps that you want them to go through. And then after they've fulfilled all the things that you think make you safe, then they can still turn around and kill you.
So what do you think in your mind explains the vast number of of mass shootings in America as compared to anywhere else in the world. I mean, it's just, I have no logical explanation. Do you have a logical explanation?
I can't say I fully understand it, no.
Okay.
But it's
And could it just be
craziness
their
to
gun?
me.
Could it just be their gun culture, which is like none other in the world?
Well, has the British gone anywhere and left it better?
It's not about going somewhere and leaving it.
Oh, no.
Oh, so you're saying it's the British fault?
No, I didn't say that.
So what does that have to do with gun violence in America?
What I'm saying is, all right, think back at the way America's development played out. They wrote the king, and the king says that he likes the idea of dialogue, right, over violence. So he writes the king, and they say they want the rights that they enjoy as Englishmen when they're in England to also be respected when they're in the colonies.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, writing goes back and forth, and the king gets frustrated and says, all of you troublemakers should be hung by your neck until you're dead, right? And so they say, okay, well, the only way that our rights will be respected is if we fight for them. And so instead of just simply recognizing their rights, they send people in a certain direction, right? Because people want their rights. And now you complain that you have a gun culture when the people who claim to want peace actually didn't say, well, okay, let's just respect their rights. They said, no, let's hang them by their neck instead of recognizing their rights. And so I can't justify or rationalize why the criminals are doing what they're doing, but I'm saying that if you create a situation and it causes a culture, you live with some of the things you do.
So we blame the culture on the other people.
I'm not blaming it on anybody else other than the person who committed the crime. But I'm saying to you that the UK claims that it likes peace, except they wouldn't recognize the rights of the people who were there. So it drove America in a certain direction regarding firearms. Because remember, what was happening in America at the time was that the UK was busy going about its way disarming the population, going through all kind of elaborate tricks to take people's firearms from them, and at the same time not wanting to recognize their rights. And so it's a development that has occurred, and it is what it is, unfortunately. But I'm saying to you that those who claim to want to do things peacefully, but refuse to recognize people's rights, just like some of it is still actually going on right here in Cayman, where look at your situation, for example, where you struggled to be able to get news from the government while the government was seeking to wrongfully keep you from having that access. And there are other things that happen in society where I'm thinking of a very specific situation right now in which there's a civil servant who is breaching a law and nobody's really interested in doing anything about it. And so what I'm saying is that on one hand, the people who claim that they want peace are doing some of really bad things as well. And not everyone in society is going to take an issue and deal with it in the same way that you would deal with it, right? And so, and I'm not saying that what they're doing is correct. I'm just saying that
Well,
some
we
people
had this
deal
we
with
had
things.
that part of the conversation yesterday where I made it very, very clear that the mindset of people, that the response to even, for example, some of the social issues that we face, whether it's unemployment, poverty, whatever, the mindset is to turn to a life of criminal activity can never be accepted as the right way to think. And I firmly believe that, unfortunately, we are raising a generation who've been taught by their parents and their parents before them that that is the thing to do. Like, you break the law when you don't have opportunities. And that isn't, that's not that is not a position that I want anybody to think that I personally take, or that I would
Oh,
advocate in any way, shape, or form, because I think that what we need to teach people is that there are lots of ways to go about protesting, whether it's the system or whatever else, in a very peaceful way without having to resort to violence.
and also respecting people's rights.
Yes.
And in let me give you an example of the tyranny that so-called governments that want peace inflict on people. There's a person that I consider to be, or should be, a national hero in my mind, because he stood up for human rights. And he was working for the government, and he was fired, wrongfully fired. And they he appealed the decision, and he believed in his cause so much that he sold his house, slept on a friend's couch, so that he could afford to take his case to the Privy Council. And he lost every step of the way until he got to the Privy Council, and they said, "You got to be kidding me." And he won. And what I'm saying to you is that just because the way that the government may be treating some people is not shooting them down doesn't mean they're not inflicting great damage to people. And some of those people might not be as stable psychologically as you and I, for example, and may just flip out.
All right. Well,
And
let's listen to some
but that
experts on this.
but yeah. In other words, I'm not an expert, so
No,
I
I want.
but that's not actually why I called. I called because I
Oh,
wanted to
really?
say that you see the coconut trees that you were talking about by the light poles.
Uh-huh. Well, I was
And
talking about coconut trees in the middle of town. I don't know if they're by light poles or not,
right,
but
they're actually not light. They're by light. Yeah, they're by light stands. They have light stands in between the coconut trees.
okay.
I'm gonna make a prediction. And when Ivan's ex-wife comes stomping through, and those coconut trees, and I think there's two silver thatch palms there as well. When they start swinging around and slapping those light poles, I predict that the light poles might find themselves on the ground because they're too close to those light poles. Whoever
Well,
did that clearly didn't think about what they were doing.
yeah. And maybe they might be too close to the buildings that the Colonels own as well. This could be a huge insurance liability for them. But
Yeah.
leave us there with those
All right.
comments.
Take care.
Thanks very much, Denny. All right, folks. Some interesting comments. So Carol says, "How the hell is this Britain's fault? Stop." Jonathan says, "Damn, I must be getting old because I can remember when we didn't need a license for spare gun." He's saying he wants a spare gun back because that's part of his culture. Leah says, "Get this man off the radio." Well, let him talk. Everybody has the one thing that I had someone say this to me the other day. "Oh, Sandy, I can't believe some of the comments that you be reading and you be entertaining people." And I said, what is wrong with giving people an opportunity to have an opinion? I mean, to me, opinions are a dime a dozen, really. Miss Brenda said high-powered rifles kill like any other firearm. Splitting hairs in this, it's as bad as pulling the trigger. Someone posted something here that I thought was interesting about how many guns are in America. So hold on. Who posted that? Who was that? Someone said, And this just shows you how Americans are really crazy for weapons. And you cannot separate the number of available weapons with part of what the problem is. You know, there could be other issues intertwined. I'm not saying that that isn't the case. But who was it that posted how many weapons Americans have access to? Let me see if I can find it here. Damien says the Wild Wild West days to kill Indians. Let me just see. Tracy says nowhere is safe. You've got schools, concerts, malls, parades, marathons, offices. It doesn't matter. Flashpoint says in the US, they have this idea that they need to be prepared to overthrow the government. 30% of the people in the US now think that violence against the government might be necessary. Well, after what happened to them, what was that insurgent that happened in Capitol Hill that they're still investigating and still having hearings on? After that, where they stormed Capitol Hill, it looks like the government might have to arm themselves against the people soon in America. America has just gone mad. Tracy says, sorry, but I have to do a plug for Canada. We're the second largest country in the world. You are? Largest by what? Land space? I can't imagine by population. So clarify when you say the second largest, what you mean by that. But let's go on. We're the second largest country in the world. We're multicultural. I mean, come on. Nobody is really from Canada. Canada is only 155 years old. We're all immigrants unless you're Native Indigenous. But how often do you hear of mass shootings, terrorist attacks, hate and racist crimes to the magnitude of that in America? Yes, we have not. Yes, we may not have as many people as the USA, but Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton have huge populations of many people and many cultures. In Canada, you can have a gun as long as it's licensed. My father had rifles and handguns. So there I find it hard to understand why the numbers in America are what they are. The US has had 213 mass shootings overall in 2022 so far, according to the Gun Violence Archive, which records mass shootings with 4 or more victims. Oh yes, Damien says total firearms, United States civilians have 393.3 million, and I'm sure that's an estimate. The military has 4.5 million and law enforcement has 1 million. So law enforcement is outnumbered. And this is interesting because every time someone says, oh, the good guys need to have the weapons, let's assume that 60%, 70% of law enforcement are the good guys, right? Or even the military. They are outnumbered. I mean, civilians have 393.3 million weapons compared to 4.5 for the military. Is that a joke? Damien, I don't know where you got those numbers from, but if they're accurate, that is beyond concerning. So let's bring it home a little bit. Because, you know, we just had a shooting in broad daylight here in the Cayman Islands. And I saw a number of comments on social media. Someone actually messaged me yesterday during the show. And they said, Sandy, I was reading the social media, the Instagram comments on the story that you did on Friday or yesterday or whatever about the shooting. And I must tell you that not a single person was like, oh my gosh, this kid, I'm so sorry that he's dead. Everybody's like, oh yeah, he had it coming. It was deserved and that sort of thing. And, you know, I had the opportunity yesterday to go back in time and to actually view some of the comments as it relates to this last incident. And mind you, on the Instagram, there were only, I think about 28 comments. So someone said Javon did society a favor, freedom for him. 43 people like that. Other people just said free him up. And so another person says, people keep saying, what did he do for, I'm trying to make sure I get the names right because their names are so similar. Javon to shoot you. Come on, people. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, now you will know. Oh gosh, this one is ridiculous. And I guess that last comment was a joke, but I won't even read what that says. It says, anyway, Javon, keep your head up. BT is better off and you'll be better off too. Someone's will always love you. Another person says one less nuisance to society. So I wanted to read something because I thought what someone who is connected to this young man, and multiple people have reached out, have said is really, really interesting. So the mother of the grandmother of his children put a very lengthy post on social media. I'm going to read some of it because I think that it gives some insight into this young man and his troubled life and kind of where he was and ultimately why he ended up where he is, which is now going to be 6 feet under, right? We need to have some honest conversations, I feel. And this woman, Miss Carol is her name, has been very, very raw and honest in her emotions. In fact, I understand that in Northside, can't remember if it was Friday night or Saturday, they actually had a party. They had a party celebrating the loss of this young man, which to me is like legit crazy in a way. But when you read what she wrote, I think a lot of people can sympathize with maybe them wanting to celebrate, which it's just crazy. Like you celebrate someone's demise. Well, apparently, yes. I'm just trying to find her comment here because she really, really, really had a lot to say about what transpired with the torture she says that her family was having to go through because of this young man. And apparently he was, permitted to just wreak havoc on them and no one was there to help them. I mean, the police seemed helpless. Everybody seemed helpless to be able to do anything in terms of stopping this young man from doing some of the things that he was doing. So let me just find her comment because it was quite shocking. Let me just see where she put it. Okay, so we have 46 comments. Oh my gosh, the number of comments here were a lot on some of these posts. Let me just see which one she commented on. I think it was the story. Oh my goodness. There are legit so many. But essentially what she said, let me see, Miss Carol. Let me just go up a little bit here. Yeah, what she said is that no one truly appreciates the torture that her and her family have been through because of this young man. And that even his own mother was not only complacent in what he was up to, but she, in fact, in the opinion of Miss Carol, encouraged this young man's behavior by not just turning a blind eye, but being there for him in shocking ways that no mother should be willing to support a child. And I really, really thought about this because, a lot of us are parents and we think, at what point do you say enough is enough with your kids? And there has to be messages, I think, that are sent to children, even when they're your own, that your behavior cannot be supported by the family, by even your own mother. And I know mothers are supposed to love their kids no matter what. And it isn't a question about love. It's a question of sometimes you've got to show a bit of tough love in order for kids to understand that you don't get to go around just hurting people and do whatever you want, that there are real life consequences to your behavior. And people just felt like they never got that from his mother. So let me just see. Miss Carol's comment was really, really lengthy. And I'm trying to see if I can find it to provide, fully what she had to say. But let's see if it's here. Right. So this is it. Oh, that's another one. Hold on, Miss Carol. She wrote a few apparently. Oh gosh, where's Miss Carol's comment? All right, I have a screenshot of part of it. So let me just show you guys the screenshot because I cannot find the full bit of it, but this is what she in part says. She says, to all of those to all who is in ? To my comments, on this monster. Let me set the record straight. Let me see if I can pull this up so people online can view this as well. And again, this is only part of what she says, right? So it's very, very sad to have to read this, but this is what Ms. Carroll says. She says, let me set the record straight. When anyone is a parent of decency, you should quit. I think she meant to say quite understand why I say what I say about Joven. He has erupted all of our lives in such a way, day in and day out, for 5 years before her daughter Rowena's life was tragically taken. It was 3 months by the date after laying her down to rest. It was when the monster told his parents, after family court was adjourned, this man had the nerves to tell his parents to go dig her up from her grave and suck her out. Yes, that's how low life he was. Yet the mother found it funny to encourage his behavior. It was a big laugh from her, which led to physical altercation in the courtroom between my husband and the deceased. Their then lawyer filed an immediate removal from representing them both. She couldn't see eye to eye with either mother or son client. Mind you, the case went on for quite a while before it took 4 lawyers in total, 3 of which removed themselves from representing them both throughout this family matter. This is all documented in black and white. And the kids, through their therapists and counselor in 2015, voices were spoken in the courtroom, yet his mother was in breach of violation in 2019 to adhere to the court's order, violating and taking the kids on her given Saturday visits around the father, which is a no contact order till this day. She is recently, as late as the Batabanu Saturday at Kimana Bay, another breach of the court's order, which an incident yet again broke out with Joven in public with a violent attack, not only in his younger son present, but on his own family members, which again led to an arrest on Joven. And it does go on quite a bit more. Like I said, I was trying to find which posts she actually made the comment on, because she made a number of them. But suffice it to say, she essentially says that they have been tortured for years by this man and, his shenanigans. Now, here's what someone else had to say. I think it's the video. Yes. Someone is trying to help me. Someone trying to help me find a bit. Let me also read what someone else said, who is not her, but certainly backs up what her sentiments were. So this is, one second here. This is what they had to say. Okay, so this person said, yep, this is all facts. Rowena was my cousin, and the late so-and-so helped Carol with the courts, etc., as guardian ad litem for those kids. Joven got off of her death because they couldn't track down the original couple who saw them arguing. Joven made remarks about grabbing the steering wheel and how he should have killed her sooner, etc. He's assaulted multiple family members. When I won't say this part because it might identify who the person is. They said the amount of calls that were constantly being made to emergency services regarding Joven, especially from the same mother, after he beat her up within an inch of her life on multiple occasions. When it wasn't her, it was other persons, yet she would always defend his behavior. He broke into people's homes. He beat people up, was always drunk or high. He assaulted women, children. It didn't matter if they pissed him off, which wasn't hard. On the police side of things, he was a menace to society. Soon as he got out, he was back in, believed he was untouchable. The sad part is Joven wasn't stupid. He was very intelligent and had the capability to work in both office work and tradesman work. He just didn't believe that he should have to work for anything when he could just take it or his mom would give it to him. They said he was good at math and you could reason with him up to a point. But the minute someone crossed him for the smallest thing, it would set him off. Nobody could get through to him because to break the mindset he had, and his mother continued to reinforce his behavior. He literally nearly got shot by police because he was beating her within an inch of her life with a pickaxe handle or something like that. And it was going to kill her, but she wouldn't press charges on him about how he didn't mean it. She herself would go and actually bail him out. So someone else, again, sharing, that part of the issue is the actual mother. So let me see if I can find the rest of Miss Carol's posts. Yeah, so that's the top part of it, but there's more to it. I think she put it up under one of the video posts. And it's sad that Miss Carol, who I understand is the grandmother of his children that he had with Rowena, I don't know if he had any other children, but she's trying to explain to people the torture that both her and her family, and definitely her daughter, who lost her life whilst in a vehicle with this young man, had to endure for years. And, like that other listener said, he got off on killing Rowena, but everyone, and I mean, I've really not met a single person that was familiar with the case that does not or did not believe that he had something to do with her murder. And so the overarching position is that he actually, I'm going to see if I can still find Miss Carol's comment here, but that he actually was responsible for her death because they were fighting in the vehicle, and that he actually assaulted her. And that's what Ms. Carol has said, till the day that she dies, she'll believe that that's what happened, because that certainly fits his MO of violence. And they do not believe his version of events, which I think he ended up saying something like, oh, she dropped her phone and she went to pick up the phone and then ended up in a wall and dying. So, it's a bit unusual to find someone who is killed that no one has anything good to say about this individual. And like I said, even his own family, they're not going to necessarily go on record, but they were saying off camera to me that they saw this coming, that this was not a shock to any of them. And they were not surprised to see this young man gunned down in such a violent manner because of the way in which he lived his life. He believed that he was untouchable, and he believed that he could go around hurting people and doing things to people, and that there was no recourse for his actions. And, Ms. Carol just shared a snippet of what her and her family had to endure. And this goes on. This is only part of what she shared. And it's just unbelievable. And I would really put out a public plea to parents. If you're one of those parents, folks, that encourages your child to engage in this type of behavior, man, for your own child's sake, I would really encourage you all to, rein it in. Your child isn't untouchable. And unfortunately, what that means is that somebody else is going to deal with your child, probably in a way that you do not want it to happen. So, rein it in. It's just really, really sad. And I was thinking about his mom. I don't know his mom, but it occurred to me, at some level, I'm sure she was a victim as well, because, people talk about how he was extremely abusive towards her. So it must have been one of those things where she was just afraid of him. And maybe one of the ways that she tried to placate, him to not be even more violent against her is by making him think that he was always right. But in fact, all she would have been doing was feeding the monster. And I think that is the saddest indictment of all. Like, as a parent, you've got to be willing to put your feet down and say enough is enough. I can't imagine the amount of disrespect that he would have to constantly assault his mother. And like I said, it does make me wonder what sort of environment he was raised in. What did she expose him to as a mother? Did he have an abusive father? Who's the father? We never hear anything about the father, but who's the father of Joe and Fuentes? Where does he get Fuentes from? Where does Fuentes come out of? He's a Barry on the mother's side, but who did she have this child for? Because I have a lot of questions for where the father was and the child of this, and the life of the child. So Susan said that there was a mass shooting in Nova Scotia a few years ago. There's quite a bit of gun violence in Toronto. We don't hear about Canada news as much as we do US news. There are 38 million Canadians versus 350 million Americans. At the same time, though, I don't think when it comes to mass shootings that anybody is even close to the American numbers, even when you take, when you take into consideration even the population, the significant number compared to everybody else. So in a May 2020 report here in Bloomberg, it talks about gun violence in the US far exceeds levels in other quote unquote rich nations. So yes, you will find some mass shootings, but when you compare it to other countries, it is a significant number. And it says that the US stands out, as a country who's supposed to be a so-called rich nation. So, and it's not even by like a small margin. Like even if you were to say, okay, throw aside all the per capita numbers, it's huge. I mean, it is, gun violent deaths per 100,000 people in developed countries. US has 0.3964. Belarus, which is the next country in line, has 0.628. So you do the math between 3.96, round that up to 4, compared to 0.623, 0.63. And then Bulgaria, Malta, Canada comes in at number 4. So Canada is 0.466 on the list that comes after Cyprus, Bulgaria, and Malta. And then you have Portugal, Latvia, Greece, Italy, and so on. It's a significant number. This is not looking at the gun violence, the homicide rate in Latin America, for example, which is a little bit of a different situation. But the US it's astronomical. So there is no comparison. If you wanted to be quite honest, the US accounts for 73% of global mass shootings in the entire world. That's according to a June the 8th story here in 2022. 101 out of 139 attacks took place in the US between 1998 and 2009. 101 out of 139. So I think that that puts that to bed. Ms. Brenda says, Sandra, it doesn't matter what or whom people are in life. There are 2 children involved. This is Cayman, so cruel. She says, why has Cayman become this place that after death, those left behind must endure all the nasty stuff written and said? This is sad. Well, it's sad because this is the first time that I've ever seen a case quite like this. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not, people might say 1 or 2 things like in relation, oh, well, yeah, that person gone to jail, but I have never seen, and I stand to be corrected by anybody who wants to correct me, but I have never, ever seen someone who was gunned down, certainly not in the past 10 years, who no one had anything good to say about, nothing redeeming whatsoever. And in fact, quite the opposite. So this isn't really about, oh, people say bad things about everybody who dies. This is about this young man clearly has left a legacy behind him that no one is feeling any sympathy for him. I've had people walking up to me and they're like, Sandy, this dude is just, they were like, one less for us to have to keep in prison all the time, because that was his other revolving door. And, people blame him for the deaths of multiple people. So I don't know. Flashpoint says, why does it seem like the police are so incapable of protecting innocent law-abiding citizens from some of the most deplorable people within our society? Well, unfortunately, especially if it is a situation where you have mothers and other people trying to protect them, there's only so much the police can do. The police need evidence. They need people to come forward to be able to successfully prosecute, because, you know, the whole situation with the police, it's just not the police. They do the investigative part. But on the other hand, the prosecutors need a solid case that they can get a prosecution on. So the police protect you because you help them protect you, if that makes any sense, Flashpoint. So people have to do their part. Flashpoint also says mothers are the core of the social problem that exists in our societies. Well, I'm not going to just put it on mothers, because I think that, like I said, I'm questioning who his father is, because I've never heard anything about the father. I think these absentee, oftentimes deadbeat fathers are also part of the problem. Who's the father? What responsibility are we going to put on his shoulders? None? Okay. Marshall says that when you're a menace to society, no one really feels sad when you're no longer around. And by the sounds of it and the life he was living, he was a menace. She should have had his ass locked up the first time he put his hands on her. She enabled him to be the horrible person that he was. Yes, like I said, I don't know who his name is. So Brenda says the sympathies for those who left behind by the deceased, but when they are part of the problem, which is what everybody's saying, I mean, his mother should be getting the most sympathy in the world. Apparently his father is from Honduras, La Ceiba, and that's where he gets Fuentes from. But yeah, I mean, listen, Miss Brenda, no one's feeling sympathy for her either. People are saying that she should not even shed a tear because of the fact that she was a large part of what his problem was. Someone else says, yes, his dad was Spanish and he was very abusive. I think he was deported. And I think he's from Honduras. So there you go. When I talk about violence beget violence, I'm not surprised to hear that he would have probably been exposed to violence in his life. Oh, yes. Thank you. Somebody sent me the rest of Ms. Carroll's comments. She goes on to say, I say this to say that he has been a living hell to all the females' lives that this man has had an encounter with, and continued abuse on his mother, who is so immune to his toxic behavior. She sees no wrong in his turbulent behavior. She at one point was told by a judge she at one point was told by the judge she had been 70% fault of his upbringing. Consider his lengthy convictions, which started at an early teenage years. It was at a count of 106 convictions. What? 106 convictions up until 2015, and was told by the courts 18 charges pending for 2015 up until my daughter's death. He had also, since the COVID accident, a string of lengthy charges pending. And then tell me, society, do you think living the dangerous life he was living, that in fact, fair to say living this criminal life, was not a surprise to how he lost his life? This man was always on the loose in a string of criminal activities. I will not feel as a mother any sympathy to his mother for the loss of her son. When she finds the need to laugh in the family court 3 months after my daughter was laid to rest with the disgusted things that her son told Marina's parents, that was a deep stab in her heart, as if he didn't do a bad enough job that claimed her life. No matter what the verdict was, we knew about the last call she made for help minutes before her life was cut short. That evidence, I want her to know within saying this now, the pain is in your lap. The same pain we felt when her life was cut short, the same pain she laughed about in the courtroom in 2015. A lot of this I felt the need to tell you all, know the truth and the pain we still carry till this day, until the day we, her parents, her kids, her immediate family, carry in our hearts until the day we leave this earth and meet our beloved daughter, mom, sibling, aunt, cousins. We live in terrible pain. It's our story to tell. Who feels it knows it. Thanks to all who supported and still support us through this tough journey here and abroad. God took the wheel and he had to intervene to stop this devil in his tracks. Amen. So that was the balance of, I think, her comments. So, I don't think anybody can understand her pain. And all we can say is now we hope for some sort of healing, really, to go on. Soka says, actually, people say the most amazing things about people who die, like they've been saints suddenly, which is true. And oftentimes that isn't the case. So Ms. Brenda says the police and legal need to uphold the laws, stop telling people it's a civil matter. This is how it ends up. Well, with 100 and something convictions, I think they were trying with him, but I don't know why he was in jail or what the situation was. But anyway, Louise says the truth is sometimes parents are good people, but the mentality and the peer pressure have a great influence in a kid's life, and not always the parents are bad. Drugs and criminal influences are big factors some of the time. Darlene says the reason why domestic violence has to be taken seriously, women, or in some case, you must leave domestic violence. Your children will do what they see in the home, a vicious cycle. And absolutely to that, 100%. And, there's a lot of domestic violence that happens right here in this community. And it's really, really sad. We saw another case. You guys remember this guy? Oh gosh, what is his name again? Hold on. I just want to tell you. Brandon Beckett. He's in court again, domestic violence again. So we've talked about him on this program more than once. He served a sentence already for assaulting a woman and kidnapping her and raping her and all sorts of stuff. I think he's got off in a couple other cases because, the women were hesitant to testify against him. And surprise, surprise, when he got married the other day, and I was shocked that this young lady was marrying him. And I was even more shocked to hear that she was all over social media saying that the sentence, he got 3.5 years in jail for, that was a 42-month sentence for a number of serious offenses against a woman, wrongful confinement included, that his now wife was defending him, saying, oh, he didn't do all of those things, and that woman was just jealous of him because she couldn't have him. I'm just like, ooh, honey child, why do we believe these lies? Why do you believe when a man tells you something like that? Look at him. Who is he? Like, y'all think somebody actually wants this guy? What does he have to offer a woman? Oh, somebody, he's okay looking, I guess. I don't know if that's your cup of tea, but here's a man who is violent towards women, but yet he's able to justify to his current wife that, oh, this was a woman scorned. This was a woman who wanted him. And the wife actually believed it and went around blaming the victim for this vicious assault that was carried out, on her. And instead of her going to court and even reading what was reported in the case, if you read half of what was reported and say you read this story and you only believed 50% of it, that means that you could not believe him that this woman fabricated this and made this up and she was a woman scorned. He has mommy issues as usual, parental issues. So he claims that he was abandoned by his mother and abused by his stepmother. And then his dad died in 2014, and that had a negative impact on him. Oh, they always have a bag of excuses. Let's be very, very honest here. And all of us have been through trauma, folks. The majority of people just don't take it out on other people quite like this. But, he's had a history of domestic violence charges, convictions, and he has a high chance of reoffending. So can I tell you all? Would you be surprised to know? Because last year, I think it was, we reported that he, within months of getting married and the wife buying him a brand new shiny truck that he demanded she buy him, he doesn't want to work or do anything else, right? He wants to live off of her. He grabbed her and starts beating the shit out of her and dragging her in front of other people. And so it went to court. She, reported it. And then what happens next? Will you guess? They put a restraining order in place, a protective order for her own good, to say, stay away from this man. And he's supposed to stay away. Well, the order isn't against her, which is interesting. The order is against him to stay away from your wife while this is going through the court process. And what does she do? Almost immediately, she's seen breach in the order, taking him food, giving him access to the truck that she's still paying the bank loan on. All this kind of stuff, because apparently women are so desperate for man that they will allow themselves to be beaten within an inch of their lives. And so at the time that that first, situation was popping off, I said, she's not very smart. I thought she was smarter than this, but she's going to be the one that he is going to really make a proper example of, because she is taking him back and she's entertaining his foolishness. And she doesn't get that all these other women that have gone before her, none of them were lying on him, girlfriend. That was the truth. He is a monster. Well, lo and behold, last week, I'm getting messages. Hey, Sandy, have you heard? There's an APB out for him. And I said, what? Again? What did he do now? Yeah. This was the 24th of last month. Assaulting the wife again. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Nope. Took him into police custody. Attacked her at 2 of her work functions, et cetera, et cetera. And this is a woman who keeps going back to this guy and keeps telling her family, oh, she knows what she's doing and she can handle the situation. And he's actually a good guy. Well, girl, let me tell you something. This man is going to take your life from you if you don't stop this foolishness. And this will be a case where your family is going to be left behind shedding a lot of unnecessary tears. Sometimes we need to take some accountability for our actions. So we were just talking about a mother who unfortunately enabled a son in abusing probably not just her, but also other women and children, other victims, right? You notice how most of these guys never abuse men? Because they would get the shit beat out of them and thump over their head properly. They go after the weakest of the weak, and that shows you the type of non-men they actually are. And so that's Brandon Beckett. That's the type of person he is. Make no bones about it, folks. Y'all need to memorize his face, because the next person he's going to go after his opportunities in Cayman are no longer available, he's going to start going after some of the expat population that don't know any better. They think everything that shines in the Cayman Islands is golden. He's going to promise some of them status. And next thing you know, they're going to be moving in with him, or he's going to be moving in with them because he doesn't really have anywhere. And it's going to be a hot mess. Women, try to be smarter. You cannot reason with an abusive man. You can't make it make sense in any way, shape, or form. These men don't change, unfortunately. I'm sad to say it, unless they get some intense therapy and they want to change. And from all indications, this man has no desire whatsoever to change. He is just not interested. And so, folks, he will, if his wife continues to entertain him, end up killing her or seriously injuring her. And for her sake and for the sake of her family, I'm really asking this woman to get yourself some therapy, because you need help. The mere fact that you think that he's okay and that he can sweet talk you time after time again, how many times is he going to have to assault you before you're going to wake up and go, okay, this isn't going to end well for me? You might not get out alive. And this is a message for every single woman out there who has to deal with an abusive boyfriend or an abusive spouse. You might not be lucky. You might not be the lucky one. You're playing Russian roulette with these guys. Run away. Get away from the situation. I know that it's difficult, when you live in such a small community. I've seen other victims, not necessarily of him, but just domestic abuse victims in general, family members showing me pictures of how their faces are bruised and black eye, and they make up stories about how they're walking into a door and they tripped and fell, and, all sorts of ridiculousness, trying to just, hide the abuse. right? You're trying to hide it from people who can potentially help you. Please don't do it. You have your parents worried, your sisters and brothers, and everybody's worried about you, but they don't feel like they can intervene and do anything to help you. You know, people go into the safe houses and then they come out and they go right back to the assailants. It's just like, what? So Anthony says proper oversight should be mandatory. Is there a police commission? Well, we actually covered that earlier today. The governor has set up the police service commission, and their website is now live. Our first story of the day. Go check it out. Now, how much they're going to do. And again, this is just one of those things where you have to know, folks, that you have to be part of the solution as well to keeping yourself safe. K-Man Detailing says, hi, over 5,000 homicides take place in the United States of America every single day. Nowhere else in the world compare. Marshall says she's the idiot to believe him. Wait until he starts beating the hell out of her. Well, he already has started. And she's still hanging on for dear life. And I don't even get it. For me, like, I'd be like, okay, let me think logically about this. This guy has nothing to offer me. He doesn't work. He's a burden on me financially. I have to support him. I'm the one buying him a new truck, not the other way around, right? He's making no contribution to the household, not working, not, paying any bills. What am I getting out of this again? Like, I'm a very logical person in the sense that, okay, you bring nothing to the table. And then on top of that, you're going to be abusing me? Oh, no, Bobo, not today. Not in this lifetime. Listen, for me, it doesn't matter if you bring anything to the table or not. I'm just saying, even if you bring $1 million to the table, remember the lawyer who was at Maples? Now he's gone to some other law firm where he was made a partner. Remember him beating his wife? Oh, those records have disappeared because when you have money, you get a different kind of justice. Those records have been sealed and they disappeared, but that does not change the story of what the police officers found. This one passed on the hallway of a boutique hotel in South, Miami Beach, right? None of that changed what actually happened. He claims, he didn't do it. Nobody believed him in America. All the 911 staff, everybody's like, this is a domestic incident. And the video footage showed that the woman went in the room perfectly fine and came out all battered and bruised. So how she beat herself up must be, and her injuries were severe. And not like she just had a drunken moment and fell over. This was someone who, did he even remove her eye socket or something? Dislocated her jaw, something, right? So he's big time partner at Maples. You think that matters? Honey child, if he could do that to you in the United States of America and then make it all disappear, you stay with him, one day he's going to kill you. Okay? So don't make money make you stay. Don't make position make you stay, because it doesn't matter. Louise says, when you love somebody, you're not going to hurt them. There's no excuse for domestic abuse. From the first time he or she puts their hands on you, you need to look the other way and get out of the relationship. Best advice: run. Don't walk. Run like a bat out of hell. Marshall says he's the next one that needs to be put away from his misery. They get a couple years in jail and it doesn't make them any better. Ms. Darlene says, Sandy, abuse persons need to understand, as long as the victim is holding on, the change for the right person for them will come along and it will be their loss. Jerry, good morning. Says his father was such a nice guy, he would roll in his grave to see that this is what his son has become. Who are we talking about here now? Are we talking about Beckett or the other young man? Marshall says, I always wonder why women say that they tripped and fell or ran into a door. Was the door moving? Ms. Brenda says, until you're a victim of abuse, don't judge the victims. You have no idea. And I think that there is some truth to that. But the overriding message, which is you need to get out, is still the same, right? I think that when you stay in abuse, you do take on a very different personality as the victim. But listen, I can't really say that I've been in an abusive relationship, but I've had someone try a thing or two with me. And there's certain people who culturally, Jeanette is talking about politicians. She says, just curious. Well, they did. I mean, they did. The law did deal with that situation. But, I think culturally people want to accept abuse. I recall a conversation with a sister of someone that I used to date, and this person said, "Oh, but in our culture, Spanish cultures is what she meant. This is normal. It's normal to be fighting and then you make up." And I was like, "What? Do you hear how crazy this sounds?" And it doesn't sound crazy to people who have lived it, unfortunately. Like that's their reality, that's their life. So no, it wasn't crazy to her. And as an outsider, I'm thinking, what is wrong with you people? Because again, if you're not raised in that type of an environment, right? Violence beget violence. And if you're not raised around violence, to you, that behavior cannot be acceptable. So I understand Ms. Brenda's position that maybe victims somehow think differently. A lot of victims might have been exposed to violence already in homes. And so, they continue to allow people to victimize them. But you allow it. It's not about judging the victim. It's that as a victim, you've got to say enough is enough and really put your foot down. So I remember the one time when this person thought that they could go a little bit too far with me and even just grabbing my hand. And honey child, let me be very, very careful. Very, very clear. In the calmest possible voice ever, I said, if you know what's good for you today and going forward, you would never, ever in your entire life touch me in any kind of way that is associated with anger. I said, take your hands off of me right now. I reminded the person, honey child, you got to sleep at some point in time. Going around putting your hands on women is not a good idea when women don't allow that type of behavior. So, we need to support victims of abuse. And the perpetrators need to understand that their behavior is in no way, shape, or form acceptable. Jerry says that domestic violence is treated as a joke in Cayman. It's culturally acceptable. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Right? So yes, that attorney's name was David Marshall. Go Google him, child, look him up. But he had so much money and the right lawyers that he was actually able to have the entire record sealed. Like I've really not seen anything like this except with minors, in the US minors, they have their record sealed. He had everything sealed. You can't find a trace of him, any of this record of him, what he did to his wife, except the original documents, which people already had downloaded and obtained, are still there because we all took a screenshot of it or downloaded it initially, thank God. So he is now a partner at this law firm. He's an investment funds expert, it says, at this law firm called Etienne Blake. He's a partner. Bayshore Center. Can you imagine? Now, this is the difference. This was a 2019 assault. He was let go from Maples. Well, they say he resigned, but you guys know how that goes. I'm going to just share the link with you guys. Feel free to go read the story. Makes for an interesting read. I do see our guests getting ready, so I'm just waiting on a few more of them to come in. Ms. Brenda says the message is you have no idea, don't judge. Miss Emma says, beautiful advice. Jerry says, good morning to you too, Sandy. This is a topic that has no end because there are very few solutions in Cayman. Lived it and proved it. Well, Jerry, I think that, again, it's just one of those things where as a victim, you have to know that you have no control over that individual. And they will play all sorts of mind games with you. And the only thing you can do is to try to get out of the situation alive. And I dare say, again, this isn't said coming from a position of trying to victim blame, but this is coming from a position of trying to educate, especially young girls, that there are often signs and there's a history to individuals, like whether it's a David Marshall or, whatever, there's signs that you need to be looking out for. And the best way to avoid or to deal with an abuser is to never get in that relationship to begin with. So young girls, a lot of teenage girls are in abusive relationships. There are signs, young ladies, that you need to be very, very cognizant of and very aware of. If he's beat up on his last girlfriend, you're going to be no exception. You're not that prettier, or whatever excuse you tell yourself. That means that this person is going to be any different from you. So you know what they say in the Caribbean, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So in other words, try to avoid these situations as much as possible. So Judy says it's a mind game. They manipulate the victim and make them feel guilty, and that's their fault. Take a strong woman to not allow domestic violence. The first time you need to nip it in the bud. Yes. If you didn't see the warning signs, then trust me, the first time it happens, and they're normally signs before it even gets physical because they're testing the waters with you, get out as quickly as possible. So Miss Carolina Ferreira from the Cayman Islands Red Cross says this subject is much more complex than simply asking why didn't you leave or why don't you leave. The domestic violence intervention training program offered by the FRC is a great way to better understand why it is so difficult for people to leave. Abusers go to extremes to prevent victims from leaving, and leaving an abuser is the most dangerous time for a victim. These types of comments are not helpful to persons in the situation. And I completely, Carolina, understand that. And yet I'm still saying that we see young people who the system is trying to do everything. For example, in the Brandon Beckett case, they have put in a no contact order. And the victim, he's not breaching it because he's not going to her, but she's going to him. And so to say that a victim has no responsibility in how this plays out when they are being manipulated, if that's what's going on here, by the perpetrator, and they take no responsibility for that, it is a little bit difficult to understand how that happens. And I get that men traditionally are in the position of power over the woman. They are able to financially, whatever. That's not even the case here. This guy is a straight up loser who has no redeeming qualities, and he offers nothing to this woman, but yet she stays. And so I don't profess to understand why she's staying in these particular circumstances. And I get that, people might believe that somehow, that might amount to victim blaming. I'm just saying to all victims, there's things that you need to do, and getting out is probably your best bet. Janae Brown says most of these men come from decent homes, but are spoiled either by mom or grandma, and they think that they get in a relationship, the woman must give them what they want when they want it, and most of them haven't bucked the right woman yet to handle them. Cow no weak fence. Good morning, Lavana. Judy also says that people get into relationships ignoring a lot of the red flags. Anne says, what is the law firm he's working for? So he's now a partner at Etienne Blake. He was a partner at Maples before the situation in 2019, late 2019. And you can go, there's a lot of different news sources that covered it. We obviously covered it as well. And you can go and have a look at the document. And I read the actual criminal complaint in that case, and it was a vicious, vicious attack. And of course, his wife has stayed. Money, children, yes, she stayed. And in fact, she even issued a public statement to CMR that her husband didn't assault her. Go and read the letter. But he emailed it to us, not her. Marshall says, whatever he did with the previous girlfriend, he's going to do with you and everyone he hooks up with, unfortunately. Thank you, Anthony. He says, don't forget mental abuse as well. Balika, good morning. If that violent lawyer had been a Caymanian or Jamaican, the results would have been different. This is what disgusts me about some decisions of Cayman institutions. Did that person have status? If not, why was he not deported or have his PR revoked? It's a good question. And I do believe yesterday I said money buys you certain privileges, which makes this world not fair in the least bit. But I suspect that this really is all about that. And like I said, what he essentially has done from a legal perspective now, Balika, is we're not able to know the outcome of that case at all. And, you know, the state of Florida, and then we're going to take our news break, commercial break, and then we'll bring in our guests from UCCI. But interestingly enough, and listen, we've got almost 200 people, 300 people on the live stream, plus countless more listening to us on 89.1 Bobo. So don't y'all leave anywhere, because UCCI has got some really important news that they're going to be sharing with us this morning. But what I would say, Balika, is the state of Florida has one of the strictest domestic violence set of laws in the entire United States of America. And even if, because sometimes a victim will not assist the authorities or assist the police, even if a victim doesn't, they're able to proceed with cases even when the victim is non-compliant with the authorities. And I think that's exactly what happened in this case. Initially, they said that he was, hanging around the victim and trying to tell the emergency personnel at the hospital and 911 personnel and so on what happened with her and tell her story. And they were like, no, you need to get out of here so that we can speak directly to the victim. So she wasn't necessarily cooperative after they left the jurisdiction. But in the state of Florida, they don't need a victim to be cooperative to continue with criminal charges. And even if a person pleads no contest or whatever the outcome is in the state of Florida, that will remain on your record, beyond a criminal conviction. So the state of Florida keeps things recorded for the purposes of you're ever in that jurisdiction and something happens again, they can say, right, well, you're a second time offender, although there was actually no conviction recorded for you the first time around because for whatever reason, the victim wasn't willing to, assist the authorities and so on. So, he went as far as having his record sealed so that we do not know the outcome of the situation. All right. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Jess. Balika says in Canada and the US, retraction could be resulted in having the one prosecuted for fabricating evidence or public mischief for making a false report. So I don't know that Florida, because every state has their own sort of set of rules in the US. I don't think that Florida goes that far, but they do understand that victims oftentimes are not willing to do what they need to do and assist the authorities because, they're victims and they're too afraid and whatever. And so they can proceed without victims. And when they come out to domestic call, somebody is going away. Somebody's going to get arrested. They're going to remove someone from the situation is also their position, which I think more of that probably needs to happen in this jurisdiction. Okay, good folks, let's go ahead and take our commercial break. We'll do news, we'll do a quick commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll be joined by some people from the University College of the Cayman Islands, so stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler in for Misha Allinger. You're watching the CMR Daily Buzz. 32-year-old Jovan Omar Fuentes Berry was gunned down on Friday evening shortly before 5:30 p.m. in a rental car by his one-time friend, 28-year-old Javon Dixon. The murder occurred in the vicinity of Gun Square Road in Bordentown. CMR was on the scene shortly after the murder and spoke to witnesses, including his uncle, who was in the car at the time of the shooting. Police arrested Dixon shortly after the shooting, and he has been charged with murder. Dixon appears in court today. The Cayman Islands government is offering a fuel cost credit to residents across all 3 islands to help alleviate the price of electricity this summer. The government assistance program will offer a fuel cost credit for residential customers who have a monthly consumption between 101 and 2,000 kilowatts per hour. Residential customers with usage greater than 2,000 kilowatts per hour per month and lower than 101 kilowatts per hour will not qualify for the program. The government assistance credit will automatically be added to the bill through the CUC and Cayman-backed Power and Light billing systems. The savings will vary by consumption, but it will assist approximately 80% of CUC's residential customers on Grand Cayman and almost 90% of all residential customers in the sister islands with a lower utility bill for the hottest 3 months of summer. We've posted more details on our website, caymanmallroad.com. Former UCCI employee Freddie Manuel Kristen Diaz has been sentenced to 5 years in prison following his conviction of possession of child porn last year. The 33-year-old was found guilty on 2 counts of accessing and possessing child pornography. Now, during his trial, the prosecution said he spent upwards of 7 hours in one sitting looking at child pornography and downloading numerous images and videos over a number of months. This included an image of the penetration of an infant. A sexual harm prevention order was also handed down, preventing Kristen Diaz from accessing the internet for 7 years after his release from prison unless he is using a device where he can be tracked and monitored. A 29-year-old Georgetown man has been arrested and charged with 3 counts of assault and 1 count of damage to property. The charges are in relation to a series of domestic incidents that took place between May 6th and June 16th. He has also been charged with breach of a protection order. The Health Services Authority will now only provide COVID-19 testing for public health purposes and pre-op patients. Now, this is due to the recent changes in travel and isolation testing requirements. Voluntary, certified LFT and PCR tests for travel or employment purposes will no longer be provided. Speaking of the HSA, it launched its new My HSA Cayman Patient Portal app. It replaces the previous app, Health eLife. The My HSA Cayman app offers secure access to health information and COVID-19 vaccine QR code anytime, anywhere. Other features include request appointments, access your child's health information, send a message to your doctors, view general lab and radiology written reports, view immunization, allergy and health history, and refill prescriptions online. Users of the old app will be prompted to update it, and those who didn't use the previous version can download the My HSA Cayman app from the App Store. As a reminder, more details on each of these stories are on our website, caymanmallroad.com. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 5:52, isolated thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy. It will heat up to the high 80s, winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour, then the sun sets at 7:07. Tonight cools to the low 80s, high tides at 2:23 a.m. and 4:12 p.m., and low tides at 9:24 a.m. and 9:50 p.m. Looking forward, similar weather conditions are expected. It's summertime, so hot days and warm nights with a brief scattered shower from time to time. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price, so we encourage you to support them. Now, thank you for watching the Daily Buzz. Please stay safe and God bless.
Crichton Properties is one of Cayman's most trusted real estate companies for over 50 years. We offer a diverse selection of property listings and help our clients navigate the world of buying or selling their properties with confidence. Crichton is a name you can trust with our excellent customer service and family-friendly touch. Contact us today to list your home, land, or condo for sale by calling 949-5250 or email info@crichtonproperties.com. Crichton Properties, a trusted Cereba member.
Healthy Life app is now My HSA Cayman. Securely access your health information and COVID-19 vaccine QR code anytime, anywhere. You can get the My HSA Cayman app by following the easy steps. Step 1. Search My HSA Cayman in your app store. If you already have Healthy Life, open the app and you will be prompted to download the My HSA Cayman app. Step 2. Download the My HSA Cayman app. Once download is complete, search for Cayman Islands Health Services Authority. Step 3. Login. Enter your username and password. This is the same username and password used on the Healthy Life app or desktop portal account. Having trouble with your login? Reset your password. Click Forgot Password on the login page and follow the prompts. If you're still having difficulties, email portalinfo@hsa.ky or visit the portal FAQ page at www.hsa.ky. Sign up for My HSA Patient Portal online or on site at any of our registration counters.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. Lots of messages coming in, people asking about if we can do a few shows just on the topic of domestic violence. And for sure, I mean, these are things that impact a lot of people's lives in the community. But we're going to shift gears a little bit this morning. We do have some guests who are in the studio who are going to be joining us from the University College of the Cayman Islands. So let's see who we've got here. So first up, we've got Mr. Paul Puckering. Good morning to Paul. How are you?
Good morning, Sandra. I am well. Thank you for having us again. So exciting to be here to share the good things that we have to offer at the UCCI and to get people's interest piqued as we approach the new academic school year.
Yes, wonderful. So we've got quite a few things that we'll be talking about. Let's also welcome Miss Ashley. Good morning to Miss Ashley Smith.
Hi, good morning. I am happy to be here. I'm currently at home right now, so if you see any background or anything, just letting you know in advance, okay?
No problem. You got a nice clear background there, so no worries. And Ashley's also joining us from the University College of the Cayman Islands. And we've got Ricky Hernandez. Ricky is a student at UCCI, and Ricky's going to be telling us a little bit about his experiences with the university here in a bit as well. So good morning to you, Ricky. For some reason, I'm not hearing you. So let's make sure that you don't have yourself muted. There you go. No? And anybody else can hear Ricky? I can't hear Ricky.
No, I can't.
No. Okay, just check your audio settings there for me, Ricky. But let's go ahead and get started. So UCCI has a lot going on. First thing is fall is right around the corner. I know people are already in the mode for, oh, well, summer is just here. But at the university, you guys are getting prepared, Paul and Ashley, for fall registration. So tell us a little bit about the fall registration process. And we're going to talk about some of the actual programs. You've got some new programs on offer as well. So tell us a little bit about what you've got coming up for fall and why should people register this early?
Go ahead, Ashley.
I was going to ask if you wanted to go first. So, of course, the application deadline is going to be July the 29th. So with everybody applying from early and making sure to get their spot, they ensure their seat in the class. A lot of our spots get filled up by July. If not, it's by August. And a lot of our registration is key to having the high schools come in, make sure to register for their classes as well. So with our adult learners and our current students, we want to make sure that they have first dibs on their classes right now.
Right. Yeah, and this was, I mean, I recall my university days, which was a long time ago, but yeah, that was always really key because sometimes you either had to take specific courses, you know, to meet your graduation criteria, or sometimes you just wanted to take a particular course out of interest. And of course, they always seem to be the ones that fill up first. So getting an early start on the registration process is something that is extremely beneficial to you to actually get into the courses that you want. to be involved in. So tell us a little bit about, so UCCI is kind of unique in that you guys have both school leavers and sort of younger persons who are coming into some of the programs, as well as adult learners who might be coming back for, advanced tertiary education, whether it's like a master's degree and so on, or some other courses, which we're going to talk about your student here in a second, some of the additional with Ricky, some of the additional courses that you offer through the university. But tell us a little bit about the dynamics, Ashley or Paul, of life on campus, having both mature students and some of the, recent school leavers taking courses.
All right.
Paul, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. So you are correct, Ms. Sandra, that the UCCI is a rich melting pot of training that persons can access. I mean, we have unique programs like our nursing program where people can be trained as nurses or teachers right here on island with the UCCI and not have to leave. So that's so exciting these days. Before, they may would have had to go off island to be trained and become certified in those fields. Now they can begin their career and start it at the UCCI. Persons wanting to do master's programs, and there are many persons who say, I'm not aware that UCCI offers master's programs, but we do offer postgraduate and master's program in HR, the Commonwealth of Executive Masters of Business Administration, the Commonwealth Executive Masters of Public Administration, and a postgraduate certificate in education in primary education. So persons can really become enriched in their post-secondary education on the higher level. Additionally, we have linked accreditation for our technical and vocational programs, which is so exciting because we've seen businesses and a great uptake in persons wanting to pursue a trade, either full-time or part-time. So we're very excited about these opportunities because they're now internationally accredited and provide pathways for persons starting at levels 1 right through to level 4 so that they can see their craft grow and be exposed right here in the Cayman Islands through the UCCI.
And folks,
and
actually,
yes. What I also would like to say is that with persons actually using UCCI as their stepping stone to get a feel of the university style of the campus, it's the best thing that they can actually come into, especially coming out of high school and then getting a idea of what is needed of you and then going off to any other university. At least UCCI can be that first stepping stone for when you want to come and upskill your life, come back to UCCI, readmit, re-enter, I should say. Most of these things that if mature applicants just want to gain a higher career in their professional standing right now, I would say to come to UCCI.
And I was just going to say, Ashley, who is the admissions manager trainee, that you also have the flexibility, which I think is also really, really good for both school leavers and the mature students, of having both daytime and evening classes, as well as you do some hybrid and fully online courses. So tell us a little bit more about the flexibility of scheduling, as well as the type of courses that you're offering.
So we're currently offering like math, English classes, and for this semester coming up, classes can be like an hour and a half each day, 2 days a week. So it really depends on what is being offered on the schedule itself. You can have a Monday, Wednesday class from 8:30 to 10 in the mornings. If not, you can have a 4:30 to 6 class, or even 7:30 to 9 for those who are working kind of late and can't really make it on time for those other classes. But we do have different options. We should have at least 8 sections that persons are available to right now.
Very good. So Ricky, can we see if your mic is working now? Good morning. I still can't hear you, Ricky. So just check your little output settings there on the computer and make sure that whatever you have selected as your mic is actually, because we definitely want to talk to Ricky because he's
most certainly.
He's a student.
What I would like to add in the meantime, while Ricky gets his volume together, is that the UCCI experience provides a great platform for a pathway. For example, Sandra, you have students who may not have had the passes to start at the associate's degree program, but the programs are so structured at the certificate and diploma levels that by the time they're completed, they can then matriculate into the associate degree programs and then continue into their bachelor's. So it provides a platform that students do not have to feel intimidated about going to the university to study, because there is a pathway, there is a transition for them, and that they can work towards. And we've seen so many students who say to us, I appreciate having started my certificate because it gave me the grounding I needed so that I was able to feel confident when I pursued my associate's degree program, and now I'm moving on to my bachelor's. So that is also another unique reason why all persons, whether adult or young school leavers, need to pursue the University College of the Cayman Islands for their career path of training.
Can we talk about some of the specific courses now, perhaps Ashley and Paul, that you actually have on offer? So, what can people take by way of actual degrees?
They can actually go into sciences. We do have concentrations within biology and chemistry, and then you have another one that is environmental science and marine science. We do have business administration, computer science, primary education. We also have engineering technology, computer science, nursing, which is also joint with the Nursing Council of Jamaica. Again, you do have the bachelor's degrees as well. We are sort of limited where it is that we have human resource management if persons are very much interested. Accounting also going up to that scale. We have a various variety of different programs that are being offered.
So just having a look here at the website, folks, they've got associate degree programs. And again, the AS, you've got mathematics with finance, and you've got computer science, engineering, technology. You actually have an associate of applied science, included business admin, computer science, accounting, hospitality management. The Associates of Arts, which again includes things such as literary studies, primary education, social sciences, and social work. And then they've got a long list of bachelor programs from nursing to primary education, quite a few things under the business admin side. And then you can do a concentration in different areas such as accounting, management, finance, marketing, as well as the human resources management. And I like that under the concentration for the HR management, you also have a couple minors that people can do. So you can do HR, resource management, accounting, marketing, economics, finance, and management. And then there's also the social sciences, which include human resource management, applied psychology, applied sociology, and public service management, of course, tourism management. Anything that's new on the list for fall of 2022?
Yes, for the technical areas, we have to, but before I tell you about those two, I want to also put a plug here for the School of Hospitality Studies. That program is funded by the Department of Tourism, and we are so excited that they continue to be a key partner with us for that diploma program, because it is helping to prepare our young Caymanians for the hospitality sector, where they can either specialize in food preparation and cookery, food and beverage service, reception service, but we're also adding water sports and recreation. So that's a new component to the School of Hospitality's offering this year. And they get a full scholarship, compliments of the Department of Tourism once they are Caymanians. So I really want to encourage all young Caymanians who want to have a career in the hospitality sector that this is your time to shine and to register. Other programs that we knew that we're offering from September is construction technology. We've heard a number of students who have a passion for that area, and we now have the accredited national NCCR accreditation, so they can begin their construction training where they're exposed to the areas of plumbing, carpentry, AC, roofing, tiling, and so that they can then determine what pathway they want to go. And so that's very exciting for us because that's going to be offered not only in the daytime, but evening students can also access that program as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so quite a bit, folks, on offer here. We're going to get some details about also scholarship opportunities. My apologies. And how you can take advantage of some of those as well. So, shall we try Ricky again? Ricky, do you think we might have it sorted out? Hi. Nope, still not hearing you, Ricky. Try to just unplug. I suspect you're in a computer, so try unplugging the headset, Ricky, and see if we can just pick you up from your computer audio. So I know you're trying to use a headset, which is always ideal, but it's not ideal if we can't hear you at all. So maybe just unplug that completely and see if we could get you without it. Okay, so I mean, Ricky can tell us a little bit about student life, but Ashley, perhaps you can assist as well. So what sort of support, I think when you're a university student, having good support is always critical to the success, to your academic success. And of course, UCCI has a student support department called Student Life. So can you tell us a little bit about Student Life and what is offered and how it supports, students in their pursuit of their academic goals?
Sure. So, Student Life is here for the students, and it is that we have a health and wellness center. And then, in case that students have some emotional, mental, or needs that they would like to get from their studies at UCCI, we do offer the writing labs if anybody is struggling with English, or it is the math labs to get like one-on-one sessions with the lecturer, if not their peers itself. We do have financial aid available to persons who are not actually able to pay their full tuition, if not just a portion of their tuition. It's offered for local and international students. We do have it with our supported sponsors, who is Health City, Peter and Thompson, the Water Authority, RBC, and Cisco. For those who are interested in our computer courses, we are offering as well to have our students speak with them with their academic advisor if they're unable to speak with their major advisor, to just guide them through enrolling for classes if they need that assistance, especially during summer. Most of our faculty members are going to be off currently, just to take a break and also come back refreshed and new. Student Life is there if any students need any availability or they need assistance with anything really.
All right, very good. So we're gonna give Ricky just another opportunity here. Maybe try restarting, Ricky. We're told that maybe if you restart the computer, that might help. So again, Student Life being a critical part, folks, of the support system that's actually offered at the university. And of course, having other students who are going through the same journey as you, offer advice. Maybe they're a little bit ahead in their studies, or perhaps, they've got a different method of studying. If you've been out of the game for a while, it's helpful to have a study buddy, to have other people that you can rely on and that you can reach out to for class notes and other things as well. So this is quite, I think, an excellent thing to have available to students at the university. So, Mr. Paul,
Yes.
why didn't you tell us a little bit about, I hear that you even got a real estate, is it a real estate course or program that you're offering?
Yes, and so in addition to the one-year programs that we offer, UCCI also offers specific guided courses for those persons who want to upskill in a specific area. So you can have your bread making, if that's your passion, cake and baking and decorating, project management, if that's what you want to get into. But real estate is one that has been very popular over the last few months. And so persons start from the first basics of real estate, they go on to the level 2, and then the advanced, where they are working towards an official certification to become a realtor in the field. So we have the QuickBooks, and that's very popular as well, because we've had testimonials from students saying, you know what, since I came to UCCI and did my QuickBooks, I've gotten a promotion, I've seen my work improved. And so we are really buoyed by the fact that businesses are excited about partnering with us and sending their employees, or people are seeing the value of the training that we have. And I think it's unfortunate we've not heard Ricky yet, but the course that Ricky is currently undertaking came out of a partnership between Otis Air and the UCCI. They initiated that course, and we called it Electrical Fundamentals for HVAC Technicians. And we really want to thank Otis Air, who were the driving force for us developing that course. And then they extended it to other partners and affiliates. And so Ricky, who's affiliated with DART, is one of the students. So I'm hoping that we are able to get his testimony of why he pursued it, how it's impacted him. But we are open to doing customized training for any sector across the Cayman Islands to upskill and reskill employees and workers alike.
Very good. Well, QuickBooks is one of those courses over the years that I myself have taught in a private business capacity. And I can tell you it's very, very much in demand. And even if you're a small business owner, folks, and you're not utilizing QuickBooks for your own record keeping purposes, your financial records, you're going to find that you're behind on the game. And knowing the benefits of QuickBooks and how to do at least basic entry, basic transactions will assist. Even if you have an accountant, you want to be able to do the daily data entry yourself and then have the accountant use that information to pull your reports and put together your financial records. So Jonathan says that he's interested in the real estate course. Go, Jonathan. Real estate is big business here in the Cayman Islands, folks. There's lots of money to be made in real estate, so don't knock it. Tracy says, for these listings, can you please walk us through how to apply for scholarships? So let's see if Ricky is now available. Ricky? Oh gosh, Ricky, you're just not having any luck this morning. I tell you what, Ricky, go ahead and try restarting your computer. Restart the computer completely and see if you're able to then come back in with some audio. So Jonathan says, how do I get into it? So let's talk about scholarships, how people can look at available scholarship opportunities at UCCI. And then if they're interested in applying to the college, how can they go about actually doing so?
Ashley, you want to go?
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself. Persons apply for the real estate, they can go online and they can click on the apply button, if not programs. And once they actually see the courses that are available, with clicking on the very bottom of the page, they can start with the apply now or apply for the program. Sorry, Mr. Paul, can you just finish? I'm so sorry.
Okay. And so once they log on, they're for short courses, which will be like real estate. And so they can then apply for those, which has a much simpler process because those ones either run for either 7 weeks or 14 weeks maximum. Real estate runs for like 7 weeks, part 1, then another 7 weeks, part 2. And then in the summer, they go to advanced. Of course, like QuickBooks will run for 7 weeks and there are 2 evenings a week. So it is not taxing. They do 1 hour, let's say Monday, Wednesdays or Tuesday, Thursdays from 6 to 7:30 or 5:30 to 7. And so for the short courses, we've tried to over the last few weeks to make it easier because in terms of we found that persons were feeling like, wow, I have to go through so much to just do a short course. And so we've made the application process a little more smoother. They express the interest, they complete the application, they come and pay their monies, and they go ahead and do their course of study. And like you have on your screen, those are some of the shorter courses that they can do if they're preparing for the electrical licensing preparation or plumbing licensing program that they want to do. So those are the some of the short ones. Those doing the longer applications will have to provide more details in terms of if you're doing a 1 year or an associate degree, you will have to show proof of that you are on island legitimately, provide documentation and things like that of employment, so that we have good record keeping in keeping with the laws of the Cayman Islands for those doing longer programs. The site you have there, if you go to the bottom again, Miss Sandra, continue. So it says financial aid.
Yes.
That's the site that people can click on, and then it takes them to the different scholarships that may be available or grant opportunities that may be available to them. And then they can apply based on the type of studies that they're going after. Yeah, the scholarship outlines who can benefit from it, what things they need to have. And so based on what you are thinking of studying, then you apply for the specific scholarship. Then you're invited for an interview to determine whether or not. So you have the School of Hospitality Scholarship, the Community Engagement Program. So those are very important tools that persons can access, because it helps significantly in these times to weather the storm and to go through their academic pursuits, feeling less stressful because they may have gotten financial support.
Right. Very good. So again, for folks, if you're interested in some of the shorter programs, they've got TVET courses, which are 14 weeks, include everything from cooking principles, electrical licensing preparation, cake decorating levels 1 and 2, fruit and vegetable carving and plating. Very nice. So if you're interested in hospitality, that's some of the things you might want to look at as well. Plumbing licensing preparation, pastry essentials, introduction to bread making. Wow. And then there's also a cooking principles too. On the IT side, everything from CCNA.
But if I may add, Sandra, incidentally, this evening we're having a drop-in session for bread making. So people can come in at 6 p.m. to our kitchen and just see and interact with the instructor about what types of bread they are going to be baking and making. So it's an open invitation. You don't have to pay to come, just come, listen here, and then you make your decision if you want to do it come September with us. So yeah,
and that's this evening?
This evening. So come on over. You'll see Miss Paula. She is affiliated with Foster. She's an excellent. She knows she takes them from don't know what to do to what they can do. And so this evening will be a good time. Any person who's listening who wants to know more about making different types of breads and pastries, come on out this evening at 6 p.m. at the UCCI kitchen. When they arrive at security, just tell them they're here for the bread making drop-in session and they want to have a good time and learn more about bread making.
Now, the only question I have, Paul, is do I get to eat bread at the end of the session?
Oh, yes. Well, she brings a sample of breads, but when you do the course, you make your own bread and you take it home and you share it with your family, because it's a very practical course that she teaches. So you get to make hard dough, soft dough, all the different types of breads. You get to be exposed.
You know, I love a good cooking class because I'm there for the eating. So and in between, I'll learn something as well. So folks, on this IT side, everything from introduction to blockchain, CCNA, cyber ops, CCNA, SRW, ITN. You've got the CompTIA A+, which is sort of your basic IT essentials course. These are good because in the world of IT, this is how you start with the foundation course, and then you get into some of the networking courses and stuff as well. You've got Windows 10, managing modern desktops, and then the Microsoft Azure Fundamentals course. You're not done, folks. Other things including fundamentals to accounting, basic English, conversational French, and Spanish. Interesting. And here, Ricky, is that real estate course that you said you were interested in. Everything from a level 1 to level 2 course, and then QuickBooks, project management, professional certification, astronomy, digital literacy, which is for adults, project management fundamentals. So folks, even conflict resolution is on here. So a lot of shorter term courses, if you're not quite ready to commit to a full degree program, some of these shorter courses I find work well for you as well. They're, going to put you in good stead as it relates to being able to get job opportunities. So don't knock it. Just try it out. So again, you can pop in for bread making session. So Jonathan's also asking about the cost of some of the courses, like the real estate course. So do we have anywhere in the website that will tell me? I see the scheduling. Is there anything on here about cost where I can find out how much a particular class costs as well?
Generally, the range between $200 to $300. That's the general range of the cost. Sorry, for the short courses.
Okay. All right. And here's the full schedule of courses if you want to see if this is going to fit within your schedule. So again, they've got both daytime and evening classes available. So do go and check it out. And that's very affordable, Jonathan. So definitely that's maybe something you can find in your own pocket there. So check it out and see. Let's try Ricky again. Good morning, Ricky.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
There you are. Yes. Woohoo!
Finally.
I know. We can now hear you. So Ricky, we'll spend probably a bit of the remaining time speaking to you. Now you actually work for the DART organization. I see you're wearing a nice DART shirt. Tell us what you do with the DART organization.
So I'm actually acting as the maintenance supervisor or the facilities department.
Okay, very nice. So tell us a little bit about your sort of, I guess, what you've been doing at UCCI and why you decided to upgrade your skills via the university.
Sure. Well, I was very happy to know that they were providing this kind of course because on my day-to-day with all the different technicians we have here, it's good as the maintenance supervisor to have knowledge to know how the guys troubleshoot and to able to assist the guys with anything that's happened in regard to air condition, electrical. So this course actually is boosting my knowledge for that.
Okay, tell us what course you actually did at the university.
So we actually just completed the fundamentals in electrical and HVAC, it's a HEV course, which is the module, I think it was the part one. In September, we have the part two coming.
All right, so fundamentals of electrical for HVAC technician. All right, so what does that course entail exactly?
So basically, it entails like our first modules were to understand what it is electrical, what understanding all the safety about it. So let's see, and then you gradually get introduced to the different like circuits, the formulas and stuff like that.
Sounds very technical.
Yeah, it starts to get very technical when it
Yes.
comes to formulas, then your calculations of different formulas. Yeah.
But this is good because you said on your
Yes.
job, this is exactly what you need to know.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So how long have you been working in the field?
So at DART itself, I've been here for over 17 years.
Wow.
Fully sign on 13 years, and various different job roles. So right now, as a maintenance supervisor, is I mean perfect for me to be able to get cross trained with the guys who are full on technicians because we got HVAC technicians, we got people with full electricians and stuff like that. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to at least when I go out on the field with like shadowing any one of the technicians, I'm actually able to understand what's going on. And this
Right.
course at UCCI has actually enabled me to do that.
And of course, that's important not just for your own personal and professional confidence,
Yep.
but when you're a supervisor, it's good if you have a good fundamental understanding of the different roles within your department or the area that you're responsible for.
Yes.
Yes, very good. So I'm sitting back now listening to you and I'm thinking, oh, I can finally hear Ricky. And he sounds like he's got a good job with the DART organization. And he's been there for a really, really long time. And so, I'm interested in, some of these courses. What would you say to people who are thinking about studying with UCCI? What has your experience been with the university?
So we actually did this course now, I think it was a total of 7 weeks. So in that 7 weeks, I mean, you learn from gaining knowledge about the electrical, gaining knowledge about HVAC, understanding safety standards, problem solving, and also customer service. So it enables you to, if you know what you're going to work with or what you're going to do, it enables you to have better customer service.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And any other advice that you would give people on how to be successful in your studies? Like, what have you been taking advantage of the? I don't know if you're just doing evening classes or if you go during the day as well. But
Yeah,
have
evening
you?
classes.
You're doing evening classes.
Yeah.
Have you taken advantage of the support system that's available there at the school for students, the student life?
I think we haven't reached that because at the moment we are only doing what would be the evening classes,
Mm-hmm.
but a few of the colleagues they have, and I'm very excited because when we go back now in September, I'll definitely be taking advantage of all the different. And while I was actually looking through the list of all the different courses that they provide, is I was amazed that all the different stuff that they provide that I didn't know myself. So I'm actually a good opportunity to learn into to see that there's tons of stuff right there for self and professional development.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, wonderful. So, folks, if you have any questions, of course, we have a few minutes left in today's program. 936 Bobo is the telephone number, 936-2626. Might have some new people signing up for the real estate course. Jonathan is definitely interested in that. Ricky, you're a seasoned professional there at DART, but if you have a young person who's maybe 18, 19 years old, and they're trying to think about, what they want to do with their professional life, would you recommend maybe doing the course at maybe the HVAC and other electrical plumbing courses at UCCI before even starting to work on a full-time
Of
basis?
course, I would
Yeah.
recommend it 100% because one of the reasons why I'm actually was excited about going to this because, for example, our instructor who was Ricardo Benjamin,
Mm-hmm.
very awesome teacher. He was the one actually. There's nothing better than you going to the course itself and you have be able to get feedback right there, right then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a type of hands-on person, so I want to be able to right there when I'm thinking about something, ask the question and then get directed. Okay, it's this way. We're used to doing this system this way, but this is the right way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. We have a question here from a listener. They said, "Morning, Sandra. Are these courses available to the Civil Service College?" So I think the Civil Service College, we haven't really gotten into any detail on that, but do they have access to the regular curriculum through the Civil Service College or just specific classes?
The Civil Service College, as it existed, um, functioned as a separate entity where they provided certificate and associate degree training specific for civil servants. However, if a civil servant wants to do it independently, any of the programs of the UCCI, they're more than happy to do so, but they are not on the civil service calendar of activities that are offered. They're offered independently on the UCCI, and any civil servant is free to join and participate and access any of our trainings similarly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Civil Service College focused more on public admin, public
Yes.
administration courses. So, okay, very good. All right, folks. So again,
One quick thing I want to add,
yes.
Sandra, so that the public's aware that coming up you mentioned about solar. And so we will be offering that starting in summer as part of the Resembit project, which is going to get kicked off from Friday. But to let people know that that is something coming up in the future that they can be part of learning how about solar photovoltaic and the things that are related. As you know, that's the direction the Cayman Islands is going. So we're excited about rolling out that course starting the 18th of July with nine participants, and we hope to see that flourish and get even bigger over the time. But we're excited about the skills and the craft and the fact that we are having aligned them to accreditations and internationally benchmark qualifications.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So, cutting edge
So,
programs, folks, being offered at the University College of the Cayman Islands. As we know, solar is one of those such industries that you really want to get in now, if you can. Don't wait until 5 years from now and say, "Oh, I should have, would have, could have." Done it, because then by then it's going to be, it's never too late, but you're going to be behind in the game. So the university is offering you opportunities now to start learning about some of these emerging technologies and emerging fields of future careers, really careers right now in businesses. Maybe you want to be a business owner, and this will get you well on your way. So folks, the university has a lot of things. They're going to be spending some time with us over the next couple months, telling us about not just the courses that they offer, but special, we're going to do pop-ins over there when they do a health day. They've got lots of different things that are coming up, so we want to make sure that you guys are well versed in all of the things that are happening at the University College of the Cayman Islands. So again, interested in bread making, pop in this evening. You can get yourself a little piece of free bread in the bread making course. So if I have time, I think I'm going to try to pop over there and see what that course is actually all about. So don't miss a beat, folks, with the University College of the Cayman Islands. Ricky, thank you so much.
sure, Sandra, before we go, can I just add, can I just say, to encourage all those companies that have, you know, all, especially Caymanian young youth and stuff, to encourage them to take the UCCI courses. I mean, not just the fundamentals in electrical and HVAC. I mean, they have, as we saw, various different types of courses there that,
Mhm,
I mean, you can better yourself and you don't have to go off island. It's right here.
mhm,
And I mean, I'm glad for our company that gives us the opportunity to, you know, every year they promote us to, do you want self-develop yourself, personal and stuff. So
mhm.
I'm very happy to, take this course, and I encourage all different companies who have different employees who even like say there's a lot that
Just one
do.
second for me. 1 second, Ricky. We're going to just say bye to our Bobo listeners. Everybody else online,
Okay.
stay tuned.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.
All right, folks, welcome back. As you guys know, we have to be very precise on radio because they've got other stuff that auto cues up. So we got to get
Yeah.
that outro music played. But Ricky,
Yeah.
you were telling us a little bit about just encouraging anyone who wants to further themselves, develop themselves, why they should take on some of the courses at the university.
Yeah. So also just take advantage of the prices that they have and the different opportunities that they have for financing and stuff like that. So I mean, you don't have to take a trip to anywhere else. You have everything here. So I
Hmm.
I encourage, and those who need financial help, I mean, there is opportunities for you to better yourself and to change your career path. I mean, take advantage.
Hmm. Very good. All right, Mr. Paul,
Yes.
final word.
Finally, yes, I just want to remind persons who want to go on to their become professional teachers or nurses that we have a program for you, as well as those who want to go on to their masters and postgraduate in business administration or HR or any of those fields, that the UCCI is ready, open, to willing to accept persons who want to do from short course right up through until their postgraduate training.
Hmm. Okay, very good. And Ashley, some final thoughts this morning?
Yes, I just want to remind people to email us at admissions@ucci.edu.ky or even give us a call at 623-8224. We are ready and available to answer any calls or emails regarding the courses as well for costs, tuition, anything that you need, and it is that we will get back to you.
Wonderful. Tracy, one final question is asking about online courses.
Most of our courses are very interactive, but if need be, the instructors can facilitate a hybrid form of learning. That is also, we also do that. For example, we support the offering of persons who do the PR course towards that exam. And that is done in a hybrid format where some persons come face to face because they like to interact with the instructor. But then others who are busy may very well do it online. So it depends on the students at the time, and that engagement with the instructor can be had and see what works best for all of those in the classroom. But we do facilitate the hybrid learning format.
Okay, very good. All right, folks, check them out. Their website is up and running at ucci.edu.ky. Lots of courses available, new courses coming up in the fall session. But again, the thing right now is if you're interested in a course, go ahead and put in your registration details from now. When you register, is there like an application fee that you actually need to pay or anything like that?
Yes, there is. There is a $25 application fee that all students need to pay. Except when it gets to the graduate level, which is the master's, they have to pay $50, especially for their exam. So that's another additional $25 that they need to do.
All right. So you can also email them directly at admissions@ucci.edu.ky or call 623-8224. Again, 623-8224. And they're open every day from Monday through Thursday, I should say, from 8:30 a.m. until 5. And then on Fridays, they close a little bit earlier from 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. So reach out to them, folks, if you're interested in any of the upcoming courses. And again, Ricky here has given a little bit of a testimonial on what his experience has been with the University College of the Cayman Islands. Thank you guys very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a beautiful day. And folks, we will be back here tomorrow morning at 7:30. Lots more to be talking about. Of course, here at the Cold Hard Truth, we have all the discussions that are topical. We do run out of time sometimes and don't always get to cover the full slate of topics that we wanted to cover. So last night I was telling you guys, if you're watching online, that we did have someone who was arrested. It looks like for a DUI. They took him away at the scene. And so a little bit later on tomorrow, we'll get into the discussion about who that person was, a political analyst, a political assistant. And we'll try to get some more details on their arrest as well. We've got video footage from the location to hear what they claim was really going on at the scene. And we'll see how that flushes out for them. So keep it locked here, folks, on none other than the Cold Hard Truth every single day, 7:30 until 10. You can listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, where it's simulcast, and also on Bobo 89.1. So normally we would have this evening or Premier Access, but as you guys know, Premier Pampton has come down with COVID. So he is going to be resting. So we will not have a Premier Access this evening, but stay tuned for week after next. So it's every other week that you can see him right here on the Cold Hard Truths Evening Edition, which is called Premier Access every other Wednesday. Until then, folks, stay safe, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning.